Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and on today's video we are going to be talking golf etiquette, and I think it's a good subject to talk about just to like new golfers, beginners, intermediate, and some of us as well, just have a reminder of the things that we are supposed to do at the course and how important they are and why they're so important, right? Some people might know like the things that they have to do, but some people might not know why, right? So I'm just here to talk about them, and it's my opinion and opinion of a lot of people out there. It doesn't have to be yours, but I am here to talk about it. And for that, I brought TEEBOX Coffee to help me out, to keep my energy level up. The one I am having right now is the Back 9 African Espresso, so I'm drinking it as an espresso. And like you guys know, TEEBOX Coffee is a premium coffee for golfers, and it is roasted to order, so they're super fresh and they're really good. This one is amazing. I rarely drink espresso or drink coffee by itself, but I really like this one, and I can definitely see myself in that transition where I start drinking coffee by itself because of how good TEEBOX Coffee is, and I really mean it. So make sure you guys check them out. I'll leave the link in the description, and I'll leave you guys a discount code as well, so make sure you check them out. But let's get right into it about golf etiquette, and I have my notes over here, so I'll be reading it off, kind of like the pinpoints of the things that I want to talk about. And let's start off with the tee box. First thing, while you're at the tee box, that you have to make sure that you don't do is talk behind someone's swing. Talk when somebody's hitting a ball. Don't do that, please, please, please. And you might think, why is it that important not to talk behind when someone is swinging a ball? Is because if you really think about it, when someone is swinging and they're in the backswing and someone says something, it distracts their mind from their swing, and they will still finish their swing, but their focus is over there, so it messes up their swing. So that's the reason why you should not talk or make any sounds behind someone's swing. It can really mess up the swing. So that's number one, easy. It's very, very, very important. Number two, this might not be important for a lot of people, but for other people, it is very important. So just make sure you respect everybody's opinions and how they feel about the game. So this is golf etiquette. So that is important, you respect if that's how they feel about it, right? So this one is honors. This is who's going to hit the next shot first at the tee box is the person that either won the last hole or who's winning the game, however you guys play it. But for the most is whoever had the best score in the last hole gets to hit the ball first out of the tee on the next tee box. So just make sure that whoever wins, if they're just kind of behind and they're doing something else and they don't care, just make sure you ask, hey, is it okay if I hit first? Or hey, do you want to go ahead and hit first? Just make sure you check, just because it might feel disrespectful to them that you don't respect their game and their scores or how they had a good hole, and you just don't care. It might feel like that for some reason, and I can understand that. I personally don't care. I'm okay with, like, I personally don't care about like if I hit it first or not, at least not at this point, but it might change. But right now I don't care, but some people really do care, so just make sure you respect that. Okay, next one is standing too close to someone that's hitting the ball. They can feel you if you're standing too close. Also, you don't want to get hurt, so just make sure you don't do that. That's number three. Okay, this one, oh my god, it is very, very important, guys. Hold on, I need a sip of coffee for that. Okay, don't hit into people. Oh my god, know your distance and don't hit the ball into people. If they are slow, try to see if you can play through or whatever, but don't be disrespectful and hit into people. That is the wrongest thing. You can end up really, really hurting someone. You don't want to do that. Don't do it. It's disrespectful. It's completely wrong to try to like hit purposely into people. And if you don't do it, if you like for some reason you hit into people by mistake, that you just did not know the distance or whatever it is, make sure you yell for to let them know that's happening so they can actually take cover or whatever it is. Or if you hit into another fairway and there might be people there, make sure you yell for. Those things happen. That's golf. But if you know it and you're purposely hitting into people, don't do it. That is just wrong. You can end up hurting someone. And don't even yell for. That happened to me where somebody just hit into my group, didn't yell for, and didn't say sorry after, nothing. So that is another thing. Be respectful and don't hurt anybody. Moving on a little bit into the fairway etiquette, make sure you feel your divots. It is very important that you feel your divots because you want to make sure you take care of the course you're going to, and you don't want to just go to a course where it's just full of divots and maintenance can't keep it up and they can't go to every corner, or they might miss it for some reason and there's just divots everywhere. So make sure you fill it up because you know where the divot is, and it's going to make just a nicer course, and it's just going to make maintenance job way easier. So make sure you fill those divots. All right, the next thing is pace of play. People hate slow play, and it doesn't mean that you have to be in a hurry and play in a certain way. It just means just kind of realize what is going on, right? If you're a beginner, it does not mean you can't get out there and play because you're going to slow play. It's just play. You guys heard the term play bad fast. If you're not, if you're a beginner, most of the time you're not going to be a good player. That's okay, it's normal, we've all been there. I feel like I'm still there, but it's okay, you can play fast, you can pick up the ball, you can just, hit a couple shots, and if you're not on the green, just move on. It's okay because you're not out there to probably, see what is your best score, or if you're probably just practicing, and you can just go ahead and bring it back to the range practice until you start hitting in a certain around a certain score. Then you can play every ball or whatever. But sometimes you just have to pick it up. If you're just if you're in a par 4 and you've had 7 shots, okay, just there's people behind you. If there's nobody behind you, whatever. But if there's people behind you, go ahead and move on, go to the next hole, practice in the next hole, whatever you have to do, or skip a hole, whatever makes you feel comfortable, but just make sure you respect people behind you. You don't want to hold everybody up. And don't say oh, I'm paying to be here, because there is golf rules, right? You have to go through a hole in a certain amount of time. So I used to do a lot of range because I wanted to get better, to be able to play a full round without being worried about people. So until I got to that point, I didn't play a full round. I used to pick it up, move on, practice a couple shots, move on, and that's how I slowly got better. And that's how it should be, just because you have to be respectful of the people behind you. And you just kind of take their, if you're too slow, you're taking their the rhythm. Okay, the next one is playing out of turn. Some people like to play ready golf, and that's totally fine. I like to play ready golf, but not everybody likes to play ready golf, and the etiquette is to wait for the person whose ball is behind you. So if your friend's ball is, or somebody that is playing with you, their ball is behind yours, make sure they are hitting their ball first, and you stay behind. First of all, because you don't want to get hurt. We don't want to get hurt, so we're not just going to drive in front. Also, out of respect that you actually do care about their shot and their game. It's not you playing by yourself. I have the tendency to just kind of get in my zone and think about my next shot, and I like to play ready golf. But everybody's different, so make sure you respect that rule and just ask how they like to play, or if they like to play ready golf or not. Everybody's different. Okay, the next one is, let's talk about music. I personally like to listen to music, but there are some people who they don't like to listen to music when they play, and that's okay. That's their choice, right? We don't have to be like everyone. But I always ask, is it okay if I play music or whatever? and most of the time they will say yes. I've probably have had it like happen to me like once or twice where somebody was like, I don't like to play with music, and I was okay with it. I had no problem. If for you that's a problem, then you can just go ahead and ask at the clubhouse if you can play separately or whatever. But if that's like such a big deal for you or whatever. But for me, I rather play with music, but I don't mind also. But some days I actually don't want any music at all, so I understand those people. And if you are playing music, make sure you are respectful of the other cards as well. Like, let's say you're listening to country and they are listening to hip-hop and they might not like your music or whatever. Make sure that like you just like kind of like stay like low and just like, you know, just play the music. Make sure you're not playing your music too loud where it's kind of like interrupting the other card. Okay, moving on to the green. So now we're at the green, and I need to take a sip of my coffee. All right, fix your ball mark. And that you guys should know already. If you're on the green, make sure you fix your ball mark. And for me, I found that at some point, if I wasn't like before I used to caddy, I used to be really good at that. When I was like golfing, it was harder for me because wearing a skirt, I didn't have a place to put like my divot tool, and I would always forget it in the car. But for me, what made it easier is that I've always carried a tee. After I hit a shot from the tee box, I picked up the tee and I put it right here. And you can fix your ball mark with a tee. So just do that. If you don't have one, ask somebody else that's playing. Hey, do you have a divot tool I can use? They usually do. So make sure you fix those so that you don't get to the green and there's a bunch of marks that you need to fix before you putt. Okay, next thing is walking on someone's line. And that one is kind of like, the reason why is because obviously you guys know that it leaves a mark on their line, and it might mess up their putt, especially if you have spikes. And or if you don't, sometimes it will still leave a mark depending on how the green is, and sometimes it doesn't, right? Sometimes it doesn't matter, but for some reason when somebody does that, it just feels like they disrespected you, or they walked your line and they just messed up your putt. Something happens when somebody walks your line, even if they don't leave a mark. So make sure you don't, because there is a possibility that you will, right? There's a possibility you will, and if they don't have a good putt, in their mind, they can think the reason why they didn't have a good putt, even if it's not, it's because that person walked the line. So just don't do it. It's just not right. It's not. The next thing is being too close and moving around and making noises while somebody's putting or when somebody's hitting a ball, whatever it is, you know, just yeah, make sure you stay kind of far away from them, because even if I'm like looking down the putt, I can feel how close somebody is, and that can mess me up. So just make sure you're in a distance where you're not like creating any shadows, or you're just not too close to the line or behind the person, because that can distract them. And making noises, of course, don't make noises while somebody's swinging, putting, same thing that I talked about, talking while someone is hitting at the tee box is the same thing for every shot. So yeah, I guess those are some of the like etiquettes that I think they're very important. Everybody's different, everybody plays differently, so just make sure you understand the person that you're playing with and how they feel about certain things, and yeah, get out there and have a good time. Of course, there are other rules and etiquettes that I didn't mention here that I might not find as important, that might be important for some people or not, but I might leave that for another video. One that I really want to talk about is dress code, and for obvious reasons, but I don't want to talk about it on this video because I want to make a whole video just talking about dress code. because I want to make a whole video just talking about dress code, because that's an important subject for me to talk, because I feel like that's an important subject for me to talk about, and I have a lot to say about it for obvious reasons that you guys can see like on my Instagram or on my videos over here, that you guys might also be curious what I think about it. So I'll be making another video about dress code to a golf course. But for now, this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you guys subscribe, like, leave a comment, and make sure you guys check out TEEBOX Coffee, and I'll see you guys in the next video.